Hello, children.
Hello, Auntie.
Are you happy to be here?
Yes, Auntie.
Okay, put your hands together for yourselves. You are welcome. Today, I have a very interesting story for you all. Are you happy to hear that story?
Yes, Auntie.
Okay, our story today is between David and Goliath. David and who?
Goliath.
Our story today is taken from the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 17, from verse 1 to the end. 1 Samuel, chapter 17, verse what? Verse 1. Good. Now, there was a giant from the Philistines, and his name was Goliath. What was his name?
Goliath.
Goliath was a giant that was 9 feet tall. How many feet tall?
9 feet tall.
He came before the children of Israel for 40 days and 40 nights just to defeat them. Goliath has always fought with other nations, and this time it was the turn of the children of Israel. Goliath came before them for 40 days and 40 nights, roaring for them to just give him one man to defeat him. But the Israelites were not able to give Goliath anybody because he was a giant. He was so big that they were afraid. Children, David, a little boy, was in the forest tending to his father's flock. And on this very day, David was sent to the battlefield to give food to his brothers. David had 3 elder brothers fighting in the army. Their names were Eliab, Abinadab, and Shammah. What were their names?
Eliab, Abinadab, and Shammah.
Good. And David got to the battlefield with the food supply. He went to the captain of the army of Israel and asked him, what shall be given to the person who will be able to defeat this giant called Goliath? And the captain looked at small David and said, small boy, you go back home, because this battle is just for the army of Israel. But here was David curious, and he continued to ask this question until the words of David fell into the ears of the king. And the king then was King Saul. King who?
Saul.
King Saul asked David be brought before him. He said, little boy, I heard you are ready to fight with the giant Goliath. And David said, just one question. What shall be given to the man who will be able to defeat Goliath? And the king said to him, half of my kingdom shall be given to whoever will be able to defeat these giants. And so many other good things. David was interested in the offer and decided to fight against the giants. And the king ordered that his armor be given to David. David wore the king's armor. But as soon as David took his first step, the armor began to fall. Took the second step, the other armor fell. Do you know why?
No.
Because David was not a fighter, neither was he in the army. He has never fought with any weapon. Don't forget that David, while taking care of his father's flocks in the field, a bear came and attacked his father's flocks. Do you know what David did? David killed that bear with his hands. No weapon. Another day, a lion came, attacked David's flock. Do you know what David killed that lion with? His bare hands. Have you seen a lion before?
Yes, Auntie.
A lion is so big, right? With his teeth. But here was little David. David tore the lion with his bare hands. And David said to the king, that same God who delivered me from the hands of the bear and the lion will deliver me today. And David went beside the brook and picked up 5 smooth stones. How many stones?
5 smooth stones.
David stood before Goliath. And Goliath was so angry and said to David, "What? Am I a dog that you should come before me with a stone and a sling?" And Goliath said, "Today I will make sure the birds of the air feed on your flesh." And David took out 1 stone, fastened it on a sling, and began to run towards Goliath. And Goliath also ran towards David with his sword, ready to kill David. And David was also ready to kill Goliath. Now, as soon as David ran towards Goliath, he swung that sling and boom! That was David's stone on Goliath's head. Do you know what happened? Goliath was on the floor, dead. That stone went into Goliath's head. Boom! And Goliath fell down flat. Let's put our hands together for David. Now, do you know what David did next? David ran towards Goliath, picked up his sword, and cut off Goliath's head. Do you know what he did? As soon as he cut off Goliath's head, he picked the head, lifted it up, and the whole of Goliath's army began to run because their champion has been defeated and Goliath was dead. But David commanded that the armies of Israel run towards them and kill them all because the Israelites have won the battle. Let's put our hands together once again for David. And that was how David defeated Goliath in the name of the Lord God of Israel. Now, children, what I want you to know is that at all times, you might have some things facing you as giants. They pose as giants. I want you to always be confident because you have God inside of you. You have who?
God inside of you.
Yes, because that was what gave David the confidence and the backing because God was with him. Do you enjoy my story?
Yes, Auntie.
It's question time. Now let me ask my first question. How many feet tall was the giant Goliath? Okay, great.
Goliath was 9 feet tall.
How many feet tall?
9 feet tall.
Correct. Let's clap for Grace. She got that correctly. Now to our second question. David, while in the field tending to his father's flock, 2 animals came to attack his father's flock. One was a bear, the other one a lion. Who can tell me what David defeated those animals with? Okay, Favor?
His bare hands.
Wow, his bare hands. Let's put our hands together for Favor. Now, David had 3 brothers in the army who were ready to fight against the giant Goliath. What were their names? Okay, Judah.
Eliab, Abinadab, and Shammah.
Did we get that?
Yes, Auntie.
Let's put our hands together for Judah. Now let's mention the names together again. Eliab, Abinadab, and Shammah. They were not Shammah. Eliab, Abinadab, and Shammah. They were the 3 brothers of David who fought in the army. But were they able to defeat Goliath?
No.
Who did?
David.
David, little David. David was the youngest among 8 brothers. He was not trained in the army, but because he came before the giant in the name of the Lord God of heaven, he was able to defeat the giant. Now, to our last question. Who can tell me? No, the Philistine named Goliath was from where? Tian.
It was the Philistine from Gath.
Yes. Goliath was a Philistine from Gath. Let's clap for Tian. And so, children, that is the end of my story. Before we leave, I want to teach us a song. Do you want to hear my song?
Yes, Auntie.
Do you want to hear my song?
Yes, Auntie.
Okay, you clap your hands after me. Goliath, Goliath. David, the little boy, is going to fight Goliath. Goliath, Goliath. David, the little boy, is going to fight Goliath. Are you ready to go now? Okay, let's do it together. 1, 2, go. Goliath, Goliath.
David, the little boy, is going to fight Goliath. Goliath, Goliath. David, the little boy, is going to fight Goliath.
Wow! Clap for yourselves. Well, children, we have come to the end of our story today. Don't forget that David defeated Goliath in the name of the Lord God of who? The name of the Lord God of heaven. So anytime you are faced with any giant, what do you do? What do you do? So children, we have come to the end of our story for today. See you again next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.